It's quiet, way too quiet. The kind of quiet that's deafening, you know? It screams, echoes with all the things we just hurled at each other in this room. The door slammed, 10, maybe 15 minutes ago? Feels like an eternity. And I'm still standing here. Just standing. Like my feet are glued to the floor. I can't move. I can't think. One hand job. That's all. That's all it took. And now my life, our relationship, everything I thought was solid is just gone. He actually walked out. He said he can't even look at me. Called me a cheater. A cheater. Me. And I'm speechless. Totally, utterly speechless. How did this even happen? How did this turn into this? I'm just replaying everything. The last few hours, the last few days. Hell, the last 3 years. Rhys and I, we were good, weren't we? 3 years. Movie nights, stupid inside jokes, lazy Sundays in bed, bickering over whose turn it was to take out the trash. You know, the whole comfortable, messy, amazing thing that is a shared life. We built a whole world in this little apartment. His battered sneakers are still by the door. His favorite mug, the blue one with the chip, is sitting on the draining board. It's like he's just popped out for milk. Except he hasn't. He's gone. And he's not coming back. We always prided ourselves on being different. Not like those other couples. We weren't the jealous, possessive types. Or at least I thought we weren't. We talked a lot about freedom, about personal space. I remember this one night, maybe a year in, we were watching some god-awful reality show. This couple was having a total meltdown because one of them chatted with someone at a bar. Rhys actually scoffed. He said, "Imagine being that insecure. Trust is everything." And I agreed, completely. I felt so grown up, so evolved. We were building something on trust and understanding, not on ancient rules and jealousy. Or so I thought. Maybe that was my first screw-up. Just assuming that his idea of trust and freedom was the same as mine. We never actually sat down and wrote out a list of rules. What's okay and what's not okay contract. I mean, who does that? It felt, I don't know, unromantic, clinical. I thought our understanding was just there, woven into how we were, how we lived our supposedly enlightened modern relationship. We respected each other's autonomy. I have my friends, he has his. We'd go out separately sometimes. It was never a thing. He'd tell me about some girl from work who cracked him up. I'd tell him about a guy at the gym who spotted me. It was all open, honest. At least that's how it felt to me. My friend Liam, he's part of all this. I've known Liam since uni. He's a lot. Vibrant, a bit wild, but fiercely loyal. Rhys knows him, of course. We've all hung out plenty of times. He always said he liked him, thought he was fun. There was never any weird vibe. No undercurrents, just friends. That's really important here. This wasn't some steamy affair, no secret emotional connection. This was Liam, my friend. And it was an act, a physical thing. That's what I keep tripping over. How can a physical act, especially one that felt so disconnected from any real emotion for me, just blow everything to pieces? It was Kaylin's birthday party last night. Kaylin's one of Rhys's old uni buddies. Big thing, loads of people, some we knew, some we didn't. You know the scene, loud music, drinks flowing freely. Typical party. Rhys was having a great time catching up with his mates. I was mingling, chatting, happy, pretty relaxed. Later on, I found Liam looking a bit miserable. He'd been on a string of awful dates, was feeling generally crappy about his love life, and was probably a few drinks past his limit. We were out on the balcony trying to get some fresh air and escape the thumping bass. He was pouring his heart out, getting a bit teary, making fun of himself. You know how it is when your friend's down. You try to cheer them up, tell them they're amazing, that the right person is just around the corner. Then somehow the conversation just shifted. He started talking about feeling undesirable, about how long it had been since anyone had even, paid him that kind of attention. It was a weird, vulnerable, booze-soaked confession. And then, half joking, but maybe half serious too, he sort of looked at me with this dare in his eyes and said something like, "God, I'm so desperate. I'd probably let you give me a handjob right now if it meant feeling something." I laughed. It was so absurd, so out of nowhere. But then, I don't know. Maybe it was the wine I'd been drinking. Maybe it was some messed up attempt to be the cool, uninhibited friend. Maybe I thought it was a way to give him a quick, bizarre confidence boost. Make him properly laugh and shake off the blues. There's a part of me, even now, this detached, analytical bit, that wonders if I was trying to prove something to myself. About how liberated I was, how modern, that I was so secure in my relationship with Rhys, so above petty jealousies, that something like this was nothing. Just a physical act between friends, a bit of a laugh, a weird story to tell later. It happened fast. It was awkward, a bit clumsy, honestly. Not sexual, not for me anyway. Not in any romantic or intimate sense. It was just an act, almost mechanical, over in a minute. We were both a bit giddy afterwards, a bit like, did that actually just happen? Then we just burst out laughing. This weird, shocked kind of laughter. For me, in that moment, it was just a strange, impulsive, pretty reckless thing I did for a friend who was feeling down. I genuinely, truly did not see it as a betrayal of Rhys. It had nothing to do with him, with us. It was in a totally separate box in my head. The Liam being ridiculous box. Not the Rhys and our relationship box. I barely thought about it afterwards. Seriously, it was a weird blip in an otherwise normal night out. I went back to the party, found Rhys, we danced a bit, got a cab home. I even felt a tiny bit smug in a really weird way, like I was this incredibly open-minded, sexually liberated person. God, what an idiot, a complete and total idiot. This morning, everything felt normal. Coffee, toast, just chatting about the party. Rhys was a bit hungover, but seemed cheerful enough. I, on the other hand, had this nagging feeling. Not guilt, not really. More like I just needed to be transparent. I've always believed in honesty. It's supposed to be one of the cornerstones of our relationship, or so I kept telling myself. So I decided to tell him. I actually thought it would be, I don't know, a funny story? A slightly shocking, you'll never guess what Liam and I did last night kind of anecdote. I honestly pictured him raising an eyebrow, maybe a surprised laugh, a comment about Liam being crazy. Then we'd move on, because it wasn't a big deal. Not to me. We were in the kitchen. He was leaning against the counter, scrolling on his phone. I took a deep breath. "So," I started, trying to sound all casual and breezy. "Funniest thing happened last night. Liam was a bit down, and, well, long story short, I ended up giving him a handjob on the balcony." The silence that followed was instant, absolute, like I'd just sucked all the air out of the room. He slowly, very slowly, lowered his phone. His face. It was completely blank at first. Then, a flicker. Confusion? Disbelief? And then, something else. Something I'd never ever seen on his face before. "You what?" His voice was quiet. Too quiet. Dangerously quiet. I tried to laugh it off, but this knot of unease was suddenly tightening in my stomach. "Oh, come on, it was nothing. Just a daft, drunken thing." He was upset. It was kind of a dare. It didn't mean anything. He just stared at me. The color was literally draining from his face. "You gave Liam a hand job?" "Yes, but Rhys, it's not like—" "Not like what?" He cut me off, his voice starting to rise. "Not like you slept with him? Is that where your line is? Where exactly is your line then? Because I seem to have spectacularly misunderstood it." That casual, breezy feeling? Long gone. Panic was starting to bubble up, hot and fast. Rhys, please, it wasn't about sex. It wasn't intimate. It was almost like a favor for a friend. A really weird, stupid favor. Okay, I get that now, but it didn't mean anything emotionally. I love you. He actually recoiled, physically pulled back, like I'd slapped him. You love me? You love me, and you go around giving handjobs to your friends at parties? Is that what love looks like to you? Because it looks a hell of a lot like cheating to me. That word, cheating, it just hung there in the air. Felt like a brand. Cheating? I was genuinely stunned. Rhys, how can you even say that? It was Liam. There were no feelings involved. It wasn't a secret. My voice was pleading now. I could feel the ground just shifting under my feet. This was not going how I'd pictured it, not even close. Oh, so telling me makes it okay? He was shouting now. His face was flushed, angry. Does telling me just wipe the slate clean for the act itself? The fact that you could even do that with someone else while you're with me. What does that say about your respect for me? For us? It wasn't about respect, I cried out, though even as I said it, this cold dread was seeping into me. Had I been disrespectful? It was about, I don't even know, misguided friendship, personal autonomy. I'm my own person, Rhys. I can make my own choices about my body. That thought, something I'd believed in from all those ideas about modern relationships, sounded so weak, so hollow, faced with his raw pain. Your personal autonomy ends where our relationship begins, he roared back. We're supposed to be a team, a partnership. There are boundaries, spoken or not. Or did you just think anything goes was our motto? The argument just raged. Or rather, he raged, and I stood there feeling more and more numb, trying to deflect his accusations, trying to make him understand my side of it. A side that was crumbling fast under the weight of his fury and his hurt. He brought up every single time he now saw my behavior as flirtatious. Every time I'd talked about openness. It was all being twisted, reinterpreted through this new, awful lens. My belief in my own autonomy was suddenly selfishness. My attempt at a modern relationship was just callous disregard for his feelings. I can't trust you, he said, and the words hit me like actual blows. How can I ever trust you again? If you can do this, and not even see it as a problem until you see my face, what else are you capable of? What other misunderstandings are we going to have? I tried to explain. About how I saw it as separate from us. About how it didn't make me love him any less. About how, in my head, cheating involved an emotional connection, deception, wanting to be with someone else. This wasn't any of those things. It was a momentary lapse in, I don't even know what. Judgment? Sanity? It doesn't matter what you think it involved, he yelled, his voice hoarse. It matters what I think. It matters what it means for us, and for me it means it's over. I can't be with someone I don't trust. I can't be with someone who has so little respect for the sanctity of what we have. Sanctity. That word. It really struck me. Did we have sanctity? I thought we had understanding, flexibility. I never ever imagined that a boundary I didn't even know existed could be so absolute, so non-negotiable for him. We'd never explicitly talked about this. What if one of us kissed a friend while drunk? What if one of us gave a handjob to a friend at a party? It sounds so specific, so ridiculous, I would never have thought to bring it up. But it wasn't ridiculous to him. It was a fundamental betrayal. He started throwing clothes into a bag, just the essentials. His movements were jerky, furious. I just stood there watching. This cold wave of unreality washing over me. This couldn't actually be happening. This couldn't be the result of that stupid, thoughtless act. Rhys, please, I whispered, tears finally starting to stream down my face. Please, don't do this. We can talk about this. We can work through it. It was a mistake, a horrible, stupid mistake. I see that now. I'm so sorry. He didn't even look at me. Sorry doesn't fix it. Sorry doesn't unring the bell. You did it. And worse, you didn't even think it was wrong. He zipped up the bag with this violent tug. He walked towards the door, his face just a mask of pain and anger. "Where are you going?" I choked out. "Away from you." He opened the door. For a split second, I thought he might turn back, say something, anything to give me a tiny sliver of hope, but he just paused, his back to me. "I thought I knew you," he said, his voice flat, all the fire gone, just filled with this chilling emptiness. "Turns out I didn't know you at all." And then he was gone. The door slammed shut. The sound just echoed through the apartment, through me, leaving behind this deafening silence. And so here I am, still speechless, stunned, just replaying his words, his face, the slam of that door over and over. It feels like a bomb went off in my life, and I'm just standing in the wreckage, covered in emotional shrapnel. Was he right? Am I a cheater? My mind is this tangled mess of trying to justify myself and then immediately telling myself off. Part of me still wants to scream that it wasn't cheating, not in the way I understood it. There was no emotional infidelity, no romantic feelings involved. It was an isolated, impulsive act that, in my unbelievable naivety, I completely separated from my relationship with him. I genuinely believed my personal autonomy allowed for such idiocy, as long as it didn't touch my love and commitment to him. I thought our unspoken agreement was one of mature trust, not rigid, unspoken rules. But then there's this other part of me, the part that saw the absolute devastation on his face, and it knows I crossed a line. A line I didn't see, sure, a line we'd never talked about, but a line that was clearly sacred to him. His pain was so real. His sense of betrayal was massive. And my casual confession, my initial lack of remorse because I didn't think it was a big deal, must have been like twisting a knife in his gut. People always say communication is key, right? That what counts as cheating can be different for every couple. But we never had that specific conversation. I assumed, he assumed, and our assumptions were catastrophically, disastrously different. Mismatched expectations, a therapist would probably call it. Right now, that feels like a massive understatement for a relationship blowing up in my face. He said he can't trust me, and trust, once it's shattered like that, is like a broken mirror. You can try to glue the pieces back together, but you'll always see the cracks. He doesn't even want to try. He just left. I keep thinking about personal autonomy. I really believed in it. But where's the line when you're in a committed relationship? Does loving someone, committing to them, mean you have to give up parts of that autonomy? And if it does, which parts? Who gets to decide? We never decided. We just floated along on a sea of assumptions and then slammed right into this monster iceberg. I feel so naive. So incredibly stupid. How could I have misjudged him so badly? Misjudged us? I thought we were strong. I thought we were modern and open-minded. But maybe modern and open need even more communication, even more explicit boundary setting, not less. Maybe my whole desire to be chill and not like other couples made me blind to the very real, very traditional need for clear emotional safety lines. The silence in this apartment is physically pressing in on me. Every tick of the clock sounds like a countdown to... what? The rest of my life without him? It feels impossible. My chest actually aches. It's a physical pain, this hollowness where just this morning there was warmth and security in him. Right now, making sense of it feels impossible. All I have is this crushing weight of shock, this awful echoing silence in an apartment that suddenly feels way too big, way too empty. He walked out. Our relationship, my relationship, is over. Destroyed by one hand job. And I'm still standing here, completely and utterly speechless. trying to breathe, trying to figure out how everything I thought was real could just vanish. Just like that. Gone.